Shalom and welcome to Yeshua in Context. I'm Derek Lehman. You can find me at DerekLehman.com. That's DerekLeman.com. And also at YeshuaInContext.com you can find a lot of free information and inspiration about the life and message of Yeshua the Messiah. Yeshua in Context is about catching the life and message of Yeshua the Messiah in his context so we can better follow him in our own. In virtually every section of Matthew's infancy narratives of Yeshua, he has scriptural fulfillments. Often he says, this happened in order to fulfill what was written. But sometimes the fulfillment is hidden in the story, and it's waiting for the eyes of astute readers to catch. And that's how it is with the Magi, who brought gifts to Yeshua from out of the east. In last week's vodcast, The Bethlehem Star, I showed you how the Balaam story from the book of Numbers is the background for the story of the Magi in Matthew 2. Like Balaam, the Magi were diviners who came out of the east. King Balak, who hired Balaam, is like King Herod in the story in Matthew 2. And Balaam saw Israel's star rising in the east, and he foretold a king who is Messiah. Similarly, the Magi saw a star rising in the east and came looking for Messiah. However, Balaam did not bring gifts. Let's take a look at the story again in Matthew chapter 2, verses 7 through 12. And I'm reading from the Delitzsch Hebrew Gospels, the English translation prepared by Vine of David. Matthew 2, 7 through 12. Then Hordos, that's Herod, summoned the Magi secretly and questioned them to find out the time when the star was seen. He sent them to Bethlehem, saying, Go, thoroughly search out the matter of the boy. When you have found him, tell me so that I may go and bow down to him too. When they heard the words of the king, they departed. And the star they had seen in the east moved in front of them until it came and stood still over the place where the child was. They saw the star, and they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. They came into the house and found the child with Miriam, his mother. They fell upon their faces and bowed down to him. Then they opened their treasures and presented to him a gift of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They were commanded in a dream not to return to Hordos, so they departed to their land by a different route. Raymond Brown, in his book The Birth of the Messiah, explains what's going on here. He says that Matthew, the gospel that mentions scribes for the kingdom of heaven and therefore expects readers to be very knowledgeable about the scriptures, expects his astute readers to see here a scriptural promise. It's a promise that also begins with Israel's light shining. I'm reading now Isaiah chapter 60 in verse 1 from the Revised Standard Version. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. Compare the Magi story, where they saw the star rising in the east. And then, a little further down in Isaiah chapter 60, in verse 6. A multitude of camels shall cover you, the young camels of Midian and Ephah. All those from Sheba shall come, and they shall bring gold and frankincense, and shall proclaim the praise of the Lord. It's hard to miss that. Compare the Magi story. They brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh to the baby Yeshua. As Raymond Brown says, this emphasizes Yeshua as the son of Abraham, the one in whom all of the nations are blessed. And consider a parallel passage, Psalm 72, verses 10 and 11. May the kings of Tarshish and the isles render him tribute. May the kings of Sheba and Seba bring gifts. May all kings fall down before him, and all nations serve him. The Magi are possibly from Arabia, like the kings of Sheba who come to pay homage. And Matthew may be hinting that all nations will bow down and serve Yeshua. And all that points to one more connection that this story brings up about our Messiah, Yeshua. Yeshua is seen again and again in the Gospel of Matthew as ideal Israel, the one in whom all the promises to Israel are fulfilled in a single person. Not fulfilled as in done away with, so that they won't happen in the future, but as in foreshadowed, so that the promise for the future to the people of Israel is even more certain. The themes in Isaiah 60 are a promise to the chosen people, a promise in the last days, that the despised nation will shine the light of God on the world, and the nations will worship Israel's God and bring gifts. Matthew shows us how these promises are realized in Yeshua. The nations do bring gifts to the baby Yeshua. The light of God is shining through this infant. And that's the message of the Magi bearing gifts. I'm Derek Lehman.